Hey everybody, it's Josh with Talk About Trek, and we're back again today, doing what we do best here on the channel, talking about Star Trek books. And today's a very special day. We've got a 2-for-1 video here. And I'll tell you why. Pretty simple. Yesterday, we did finish Line of Fire, Starfleet Academy number 2 by Peter David. And wouldn't you know, we were just talking about this too. Look at this at the end, to be continued. So, I mean, it's obviously a two-parter, so we got to do Survival right along with it, which we read and finished up today in just 2 sittings. So, and that's just I guess the joy of these kind of books, right? That you can sit down and in the matter of an hour or so knock these things out and have yourself a fun little adventure, which is exactly what you got going on here. So. Now, last time we talked a little bit about Peter David and like kind of how this came about, or I guess how this went on, and became more than just the Starfleet Academy characters. They went on into the New Frontier series. So, of course, we've got our book about books here, and we can read what Peter reflected. Peter reflected on writing the first 3 Academy books. These are now referred to as the New Frontier prequels. Who knew? They asked if I would be interested. I created the supporting cast to fill certain slots in various aspects of Starship life. When I was working on New Frontier, I realized that I had done this already. The characters I created for Worf's young adult books were perfectly good characters, and they filled the needs I had for the Excalibur. Why did I have to beat my brains out coming up with yet more characters when I have these characters that already exist? I simply brought Soleta, Kibran, and eventually Tanya Tobias. I brought Soleta and Kibran forward and had nothing with Tanya, and got letters from people asking, "Where is Tanya? She has finally shown up." I have not seen that. So that must be later on in the New Frontier series. I want to say maybe I read the first 6 of those so far. And we're definitely going to get back into those. So that was what kind of happened with the characters in this book, which I think is awesome. And for me, I mean, of course, I read these when I was a kid, but then I more recently read the New Frontier series and became, familiar with those characters there. And then now getting to go back and see their Academy days with Worf thrown in there as well. Very cool. So we will take this one book at a time, but as they're little, it'll go kind of quick here. So for the first one, first off, I want to point out the cover art here by Catherine Huerta is excellent. I love the I don't know if this has ever actually been in an episode or anything like that, but this little jacket that Worf has got on here that she drew is very cool, and I kind of wish that I had one for my own. But anyway, you can see there's a female Klingon there behind Worf, and that, of course, is Kalar. So here you've got the introduction of the Worf and Kalar relationship as well, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, from the cover, on his first mission, Worf is caught between the Federation and the Klingon Empire. Mission to Dantar. Mysterious space raiders are threatening the joint Federation Klingon colony on the remote planet of Dantar and pitting the two sides against each other. Worf and his fellow first-year cadets, Zach, Tanya, Soleta, and Mark, have accompanied their teacher to observe the negotiation process, but soon find themselves in the middle of an intergalactic dispute. Just as Worf and the other cadets arrive, they discover the Klingon Empire has sent down its own diplomatic team, including Klingon cadets, to investigate the attacks. As the cadets from Starfleet Academy come face to face with their Klingon counterparts, tensions quickly mount as each side accuses the other of staging the raids. While a deadly space battle rages overhead, Worf will face his ultimate test as his Klingon heritage and future in Starfleet collide. Whoa. Okay. That's a wordy back cover, but truthfully, it doesn't really give away any of the fun action that you get here in Line of Fire. So we'll just kind of get right into it. They are sent on this kind of... Well, first off, in the academy, Worf and his like kind of classmates, they are known as the Dream Team, which I like that. That's really cool. So the Dream Team is sent to Dontar to assist in this basically dispute between a Federation and Klingon colonists, right? And of course, they're taking advantage of the fact that Worf is a Klingon and bringing him along and using his Dream Team to do all this. So they get to the planet, and when they get there, they run into Kalar, and then she also has two Klingons with her, Gower and Kodash, right? And immediately they, Gower and Kodash are kind of like rubbing Zach the wrong way. In the first book, like kind of the whole point of this first book is that the Brickar, Zach Kibron, and Worf, they don't like each other, but then they learn to like have a grudging respect for each other, and now they're working good together in this book, but now they meet these Klingons, and they're rubbing him the wrong way, right? So immediately there's some trouble. They're kind of fighting with each other, but Worf and Kalar are able to bring their respective teams, into under control, and they're able to basically accomplish what they were sent there to do, which is to handle the disputes in a way that is satisfactory for everyone. So they get all that done, but as they kind of have, basically as they've kind of won, right? They've done everything they need to do. Boom! Here comes the problem. Attack from above. The colony is basically devastated, and you have a fun little scene here where Worf and his crew, the Dream Team, have to work together with the Klingon crew to get this phaser cannon back online. So lots of fun scenes there. And one of the cool things about this book, too, is its use of illustrations. So here you can see, let me get that for you. Perfect. And these illustrations are by James Fry, it says. There you have Soleta climbing through the tunnels. She's trying to reestablish the power to the phaser cannons. And there's a good, maybe 10 of these throughout the book here. Here's another one where you can see, like I said, Zach and the Klingon, they did get into a little bit of a scuffle in the beginning, but, eventually they're able to kind of work all those things out. And let me see what the other ones I have in here are. Well, anyway, we'll just kind of bring this book to a close so we can move on to the third one. So they're able to get the phaser cannon back online, and luckily just in time before the guy comes in for his next attack run, right? And it is a fun little scene where it's like right down to the last minute. Zach has to physically lift up and push the phaser cannon up there with the help of Worf and Kodash. They get it up there. Soleta gets the power hooked up just in time. Boom, they hit the switch and they blast this thing out of the sky. The colony, however, is trash. Basically unable to sustain the colonists any longer. So they have to leave. They board their evacuation shuttles, and there is just enough room for all of them, leaving behind the 4 Starfleet cadets. Or is it 5? Worf, Zach, Soleta, Tanya, and McHenry. 5. And then the 3 Klingons, Kalar, Kodash, and Gower. So you got the 8 left behind on the planet, right? These 8 were left behind on the planet. Let me see here. Boom. So that they could survive. In number 3, survival. So anyway, the idea was the colonists would go off, get to the nearest starbase, and then send back for help, right? However, this book picks up, and it's been a little bit of time. And I think maybe a few weeks have passed, and still no word or any rescue. So, while stranded on a dying planet, Cadet Worf and his friends discover they're not alone. Look at that. Very nice cover here as well. Let me see. And again, cover by Catherine Huerta, and all the interior illustrations were by James Fry. Here's a nice one of Kalar and Worf, right? So, this book picks up with them basically just kind of surviving on the planet. Soleta, however, is out doing some scanning out in the desert. Everybody here is kind of struggling with the heat. She's used to the heat a little bit, coming from Vulcan, so she can handle that. So she goes out and scans the desert, and she finds the ship, the crashed ship of whoever was firing upon them. So she goes in, she explores, and man, Soleta is just very awesome, right? And Peter David just kind of like lets you know like right away that she's no one to be messed with. The person on the ship attempts to attack them. She basically kind of senses it coming and is able to eventually get a strong enough Vulcan nerve pinch on the person to knock them out. And then she picks him up and starts walking back to camp with him. Back in camp, Worf is getting a little bit worried. She's been gone for too long. So him and Kalar, they set out to see what the deal is. And when they get there, they find her walking towards them, carrying this, body. They throw it down and they find out it is actually a Brickar. So there's your kind of conflict here now. So now the Kodash and Gower are like thinking, oh, Zach is working with this guy. I mean, which is obviously a stupid idea, but it's just this kind of drama that they're setting up in there. But they take him back to their camp and they tie him up. They attempt to question him, and he's not saying anything. So the this is kind of a weird scene too. They put it to Soleta basically like we got two options here. We can let the Klingons beat it out of him, or you can do a forceful mind meld and you can get the information out of him that way. So she has to do the mind meld. And again, it's just like, I kind of feel like this book is really just kind of like building up how awesome her character is, because she's able to get into his mind, get the information, like not everything, but, a good amount, and find out that this guy's name is Ban. He's been sent there on a mission to find this secret base. Ooh, fun, right? So now they kind of have an idea of what they're looking for. So with that additional information, they pump Ban for some more information, find out that the secret base is, located over here somewhere. So they go, they search for it. McHenry helps them find it, and they have to find the secret lock or the secret code that's going to open it up, right? So it's right along. This is all perfectly normal young adult stuff. Easy, just gliding right along. Fun little problems, fun little solutions, and a little bit of danger thrown in there as well. So now, as they're exploring and getting ready to go down, you've got Kodash. Wait, no. Gower. You've got Gower. Gower is guarding Ban. Ban escapes and chokes Gower to death. And here I was thinking that this is a kid's book. Nobody's going to die in it, right? But no, it says he chokes him until he was dead. And then, now, they've already kind of discovered the code and they've taken the turbo lift down to the secret base, right? And now he sneaks up, Ban sneaks up on McHenry, who is kind of left behind to watch the entrance. McHenry senses something coming, is able to get out of the way in time, but still gets knocked out, but luckily not killed, right? Now, this Bond dude is at the entrance, and he is able to use, I think he uses like the tricorder and some other stuff, basically to set off the base's defenses. Now, down in the base, you've got, they're all exploring around, and basically the idea is the Brickars are setting up all these kind of forward operating bases where they can do these guerrilla raids. So they got this room full of weapons, but what they're looking for is the communicator, so they can send out a message and get the heck out of here, right? Anyway, the alarm system or whatever, the trap is triggered, and this trap is a drowning trap. So again, typical kind of fun young adult stuff where now you've got to get out of this, this problem that you're in here. So and it's a fun solution that Worf finds as well too. Basically, blast your way out, right? So he, there's a lot of tense scenes where they're in the tunnels, almost drowning, but they make it to the weapons room. Worf finds one of the biggest guns he can find. He blasts the floor, finds like the sewer drain basically. Water drains out just in time. Back on the surface, you have a fun little scene here too where McHenry wakes up and he sees that the dude Bond is kind of like upset because his plan has failed. And then he says, "You're about to get hit from behind." And he's like, "What? Are you trying to trick me?" And then it turns out that Gower was not dead. Not dead at all. Of course, Klingons have a lot of redundancies built in, right? So he was able to, basically kind of fake his death, come back to life, and just beats the tar out of Bond at this point. And a few extra after he's knocked out for good measure. So when the cadets come up from below, armed and ready for battle, they find that McHenry and Bond are just in a simple conversation. No, McHenry and Gower are in a conversation while Bond is unconscious on the floor. So I like that part a lot. Just again, cause I thought the dude was dead, and then surprise, he wasn't dead. I should have known he wasn't dead. It's a young adult novel. But anyway, it was fun anyway. So basically, that's the end of the book. They go down, they communicate, they get rescued. They, I forgot to put the part in there where Worf and Kalar do kiss after Worf, saves everyone from drowning. So you get your first little kiss there, and then as they're getting ready to depart, Kalar gives him a statue of Kalas and Molar. Kalas and man, now I gotta look it up. Look at my Klingon knowledge. Has Morath, a representation of Kalas the Unforgettable locked in combat with Morath, and as he leaves, or they're leaving, he's like, goodbye. We'll probably never see each other again. And he's like, and she's like, I think that we will, and of course they do. So it's just an interesting book, fun little Worf adventure, and then again fun for a different reason because I'm getting a prequel of sorts to all these fun characters that I got to know in the New Frontier series. So that was cool, and just Peter David always tells a fun story. So let's get them all together here, and we'll just give you the kind of whole and complete look here. So what we've just finished up over the past. It was just a week too. Look at that. We started the first one on the 20th here. So we did Worf's first adventure, Line of Fire, and then Survival. So, right? A very fun little ride. Taken together, all three of them. You've basically got one normal-sized adventure. So that was pretty good. And I thought also it was kind of interesting that this book came into my reading schedule just exactly at the same time as they announced new information about the Starfleet Academy show coming out next year. So, just very good timing, I guess. I did not plan that at all, but now I'm talking about a Starfleet Academy book while the Starfleet Academy TV show has just had its trailer drop, and, I want to talk about that as well. So, lots of fun things to talk about here. But for now, we are done with the young adult stuff. We are going to continue on with the Peter David book trek. We've got darkness here. We've got darkness. There we are. Hello, we're back. We've got, coming up next, nice thick one here. Before Dishonor. I don't know what I'm getting into. I'm not going to find out until I get into it, which is going to be later on tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, thanks for hanging out and listening. That has been Starfleet Academy 2 and 3. This is Josh. We'll talk about Trek. As always, my friends, live long and prosper. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good night.